Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Preakness Day at Pimlico. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting. And we're going to take a look at the late pick 5 that starts in the 9th race and culminates with the Grade 1 Preakness. And Jim, there's a nice guarantee for the pick 5 and the pick 4 on Saturday at Pimlico, right?
Yeah, it's nice little pools. $1 million guaranteed pick 5 and a $2 million guaranteed pick 4. So pick 5 starts in the 9th and the pick 4 starts in the 10th. Both of them culminate with Preakness in 13th race.
And obviously we'll remind you to keep your Keeneland Select account funded if you are going to be out and about on Saturday, so you can take advantage of opportunities that might pop up. And if you're in the Lexington area, it'll be a big day at the Red Mile for simulcasting, right?
It will be. We're going to have all of our simulcasting at Red Mile. So Keeneland is not open for Preakness wagering. We can handle the crowd. We're going to open the clubhouse as well. We've got new 65-inch TVs in there. It's a nice air-conditioned area. We're going to put some hamburgers and hot dogs on the buffet, and it's open seating. So first come, first served at Preakness on Preakness Day at the Red Mile. So it's hopefully going to be a good day. The weather is iffy here, but it's a great day at Pimlico. So it's a nice day to see if Always Dreaming can take a second step toward the Triple Crown.
Let's jump into this pick 5 with the 9th race, the Grade 3 Maryland Sprint for 3-year-olds and up at 6 furlongs. And who did you see getting home first in this one?
This one is tough. I could flip a coin between AP Indian, the 4-horse, and Whitmore, the 5. Whitmore is 5 for 5 at the distance, albeit 4 of those came at Oaklawn. So he got really good at Oaklawn this year. They've cut him back to sprint races after they tried the Derby Trail with him last year, and he's just become a monster. So if I were singling, I think I'd take Whitmore, but I used AP Indian simply because of back class, and he really needed the race at Keeneland. He got to the top of the stretch with the lead and got passed by Awesome Slew, who was very impressive. So AP Indian has nothing to be ashamed of in that last race, and last year he had 6 consecutive buyers in the 100s, culminating with the Phoenix win, and then went to Breeders' Cup Sprint and got beat by 4 lengths. So I think AP Indian's right there, Whitmore's right there, and I do an exacta box with those two. I think the rest of them are a cut below here. I could make a case possibly for Rockin' On By with Velasquez, but I think AP Indian and Whitmore are the class of the race.
Yeah, I'm with you on those two. I ended up going to AP Indian. I remember when he came into the paddock, the walking ring at Keeneland for the Commonwealth, I was standing with Mike Battaglia, and Mike was looking at the horses, and he thought, observed that AP Indian looked like he was carrying a little extra weight. First start of the year, you're thinking, okay, maybe he's not in top shape. And I actually discounted his chances in the race, and he very nearly won it. And the horse that ran him down was Awesome Slew, who came back and very nearly won a Grade 1 on the Derby Day card. So if AP Indian improves off that, as I think he should, then he's going to be awfully tough in here. But Whitmore is in peak form, so I would use both of those in the multi-race wagers. But I'm going to give a slight edge to AP Indian. The 10th race is the Grade 3 Gallaudet. It starts the all-stakes pick 4, and it's on the turf at 1 mile on the 16th for fillies and mares up. And I kind of was in the same boat here. There were 2 horses that it was a toss-up between for me, On Leave and Alicia's World. Ended up with a slight lean to On Leave just because I think she may have more upside left. Ran in the Grade 1 QE2 Cup here at Keeneland last fall in her final start. So I would play both of those on top in exactas, but I'm going to take On Leave for the win pick. And then there are a couple of price horses that I think could maybe get in the 2-hole of the exacta or the 3 spot of a try. Queen Caroline, the 9, and the 10, Cambodia. But a slight lean to On Leave over Alicia's World for me in the Gallaudet. How about you?
We were in complete agreement on the other one, but not on this one. I think On Leave is going to need a race. I think she ran okay in the QE2 at Keeneland, but that was back in October. So I'm banking that she's not completely cranked for this, and this is going to be a prep race for something bigger down the road. I went with Alicia's World for Chad Brown. The Hillsborough at Tampa has to be a key race because Dickinson beat her there and came back and beat Lady Eli at Keeneland. So I only got beat by half a length. Rosario rides back and fits this filly very well. I think Alicia's World has a big shot in here. And the other horse that I liked, if I'd use more than one in picks, is Zipessa, a horse that you didn't mention, the 2-horse. I think you could completely tossed the Sheephead's Bay last time out at Belmont. Caught a yielding track at 1 3/8. A lot of things that she didn't like about that track, and she bobbled at the start. So draw a line through that, and you go back to the Breeders' Cup Fillies Mare turf. Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare turf, hard to say, but only got beat by 3 lengths for all the money there by Queen's Trust at 53-1. So I think Zabessa has a shot at a price here, but Alicia's World would be my pick in the 10th race.
11th race is not graded, but it's the Sir Barton Stakes for 3-year-olds at 1 mile and a 16th, and it's always a nice race. Sarava came out of this and won the Belmont Stakes several years ago. It's a good group here. Some horses that are very lightly raced but look like to have a lot of talent. You've got Hedge Fund, narrowly beaten in the Illinois Derby last time, as the favorite in here. Who did you land on?
That's my single in the pick 4 and pick 5. Hedge Fund comes out of the Illinois Derby, only got beat by a head to Multiplier, who's running in the Preakness, and beat It's Your Nickel, who's a nice horse from a peak, and also comes out of the Sunland Derby, the race before that, which has turned out to be a key race with Hintz and Conquest Mo Money coming out of there, along with the winner of the Bluegrass IRAP. So I think Hedge Fund kind of not towers over them in class, but certainly has a significant class edge here. And I'm going to single Hedge Fund in my pick 4 and pick 5. I can make a case for Honor the Fleet simply getting better for Albatrani, 74, 80, and 90 buyer progression. And not Tom Albatrani, it's Louis Albatrani, but he's 2 for 3 for 2017, so he's a 67% trainer. And then Time to Travel on the outside for Michael Matz and Velasquez, again, getting better. Coming out of the Lexington, got beat by Senior Investment. So a lot of these horses have faced better, and this is kind of the consolation prize on the Preakness card. But Hedge Fund is my single here, the 2 horse.
I'm going to take Time Travel. I like those races down in Florida, and I like Johnny V as the jock switch. But the main thing is on that one day, April 15th, it was Lexington Stakes Day at Keeneland, there was a real strong closer bias that day. For whatever reason, it was real windy, so maybe that had something to do with it. But Time Travel was against the grain of that bias as a horse running on the front end in the Lexington Stakes. So I think that race is a lot better than it looks on paper, and I'm going to give him a chance to bounce back and get the win. Hedge Fund's got to be the one to beat, certainly. Otherwise, I would use Time Travel with some horses that I think are horses that have some promise. A couple of them. No Modo, who I won on the Derby Day card with. I'd actually picked at Keeneland. He got a wide trip, and he won at Churchill. And Watch Me Whip was a Roman's first-time out winner at Keeneland, who I'm told they think very highly of. And then the other one is Society Bow on that April 15th card. Came from off the pace to win, so ran with the bias that day. But just was a real nice race, so I think Neil Howard shipping this one up's got to have a little respect in there. So I'll key all of those with Time Travel as the key horse in exacta boxes, and then I'm going to use spread out a little bit in the pick 4 for this race. The 10th race is the Grade 2 Dixie. You've got 3 horses that have a little more on their resume in World Approval, Black Type, and Ring Weekend. I'm going to try to beat all of them with a horse who's yet to go into the caliber of company that those horses have faced, but projected beat Divisadero last time at Keeneland, got a 101 buyer, and Divisadero came back to win the Grade 1 on the Derby Day card. So I think this horse has enough talent to beat those more accomplished rivals, and you might get 3-1 or better because some of those horses have accomplished more in their careers than Projected has to this point. So Projected's going to be my key horse in the Dixie, and I'm going to use him in exacta boxes with those 3 I mentioned. How about you?
I agree with you on Projected. My notes say beat the Visadero and Ployven, and both those came back to win at Churchill. So that's definitely a key allowance race, and it was a prep race for some horses to go to Churchill and for obviously Projected to come here. So I think he's got a big shot, but I don't feel strongly enough about him. I think there's so much class in this race, and I'm going to go deep. World Approval scratched out on Derby Day, I think because of track condition. Black Type, the 7, it started in the Makers 46, but before that had 5 consecutive 100 buyers. Catapult, the 8, second off layoff for Chad Brown, and Ring Weekend, the 10, exits the Grade 1 Kilroe Mile. So a lot of back class here. So I'm going to go at least 5 deep here, and I may even break if my rule is half the field, I might even go all in the in the pick 4 and pick 5 since I'm singling hedge fund. But a very I like Projected. He probably would be my win bet if I had to pick from those 5.
The Grade 1 Preakness is the final race we want to take a look at. 13th race on the card at 1 mile and 3/16. And are you going to try to beat the Derby winner?
I wish I could do that. I come into the Preakness every year, and you look at the quote-unquote new shooters, and you read all the hype, and I really can't look at any of the new shooters as having a legitimate chance to win the Preakness. I've decided over the past few years that the Derby horses are the best horses, and the ones who survive that battle come out of it in a couple weeks, and they're battle tested, and they're going to do better than the new shooters. So, Always Dreaming is the Derby winner. I really don't have a reason to pick it other than the price and the 2-week turnaround. And everybody talks about Pletcher. Everybody wants to criticize Todd Pletcher because he can't win the Derby, he can't turn around in 2 weeks, he can't do this. I think this horse is really special, and you get into the Triple Crown hype, but I think this horse. I think there's only one other horse can beat him, and that's Classic Empire, who had a brutal trip at the Derby. Got beat 9 lengths, but he traveled 75 feet farther, according to Trackus. He was just slammed at the start with a horse that I liked, Irish War Cry, and really didn't have a chance to win. I thought he did well to finish 4th. Needs a little luck, needs to be closer to the pace, needs somebody to go with Always Dreaming, and that could happen with Conquest Mo Money and a couple other horses in here. Looking at Lee, had a perfect rail skimming ride of the Derby. He may get that trip here, but I just don't think he's good enough to beat these horses. But I would not leave him out of the exotics. Conquest Mo Money is the new shooter that I think has a legitimate shot. He only got beat half a length or so to Classic Empire in the Arkansas Derby. Might be ready to fire. I think it was a good decision on their part to leave him out of the Derby mix, and he is going to be fresh and ready to go. And then Gunnevera is my 5th horse I'll put in there. Because Mike Smith is riding him. That's it. Mike Smith seems to come up big. He's only won 1 Preakness with Prairie Bayou a long time ago, but Gunnevera was a non-factor in the Derby. But if there's a fast pace here, Mike Smith is the guy I want on my horse that's a closer. So that's my top 5. Always Dreaming would be my pick. I don't like the price. If Classic Empire floats up to 3-1 or so, I might take a shot with him because I do think he's good enough to win it.
Yeah, I'm going to take Classic Empire to knock off the Derby winner. It's the horse I liked in the Derby, and he got the bad start, and he also came wide, and I think it was an inside favoring track for the Derby, so he was against the grain of the track as well. So with those two things, I'm going to, and a better price, I'm going to pick him to win in the Derby, and I think if he's got to get back to his level of where he was last year when he won the Breeders' Cup. That kind of Beyer Fig would give him a chance to win. And this is the third start off back after that issue that he had where he got the sore foot and then wouldn't train and all of that. So it's almost kind of third off a layoff really. And I think he might, if he's going to peak, this would be the spot where he could do it. I think he takes the fight to Always Dreaming early. I think they expected to be more forwardly placed in the Derby. I think they'll go after him at the top of the stretch at the latest, and it might be early on, like Easy Goer went after Sunday Silence back in '89. So I think it could be a really fun race. If one of those two blinks, that's where you could get some value in the exacta. So what I would do in exactas is play those two over 4-5, so 5-4 over 5-4. But on the second line, I'm also going to add Gunnevera and Cloud Computing. The latter is the Chad Brown horse that's only making his 4th lifetime start, so he's certainly got some upside potential left. Gunnevera, I wasn't on in the Derby, but I saw a comment from Norm Cassie, the assistant trainer for Classic Empire this week, and he and his dad spend most of the winter in Florida. And he was quoted by one of the riders after seeing Gunnevera on the track saying, that horse looks better than I've seen him look in a long time. So that makes me think maybe Gunnevera is cycling back up. So I think you might get a decent price. So I'm going to use him underneath as well. But I'm just going to use Always Dreaming and Classic Empire in the multi-race wagers. So the pick 4, my pick 4 is going to start in the 10th with the Gallarat. I'm going to use the 6 and the 7. In the 11th race, I'll use Time Travel, Hedge Fund, and then those 3 other price horses, 4, 5, and 6 that I mentioned. I'll use Projected plus the 3 more accomplished ones, 2, 7, and 10. So 4, 2, 7, and 10 in the Dixie, and then the 5 and the 4 in the Preakness. And for a pick 5, back it up 2 races earlier, and I just use AP Indian and Whitmore to start that. What's your pick 5 and pick 4 look like?
Okay, my pick 5, I'll go ahead and give you my pick 5. It's exactly the same as you have, AP Indian and Whitmore, the 4-5. Then I would use 2 7s, the best of the 2, and Alicia's World, the 7 in the 10th. Single hedge fund, the 2-horse. And since I can afford it, since I'm not going deep anywhere else, I'll just go all of the 12th race. I mean, maybe that's the place where you get the price. And then the 13th, I would use Always Dreaming, the 4, Classic Empire, the 5, and I would throw Gunnevera, the 6 in there. Everybody on the planet's going to have the 4 and the 5. People may have Gunnevera in the pick 4 and pick 5. So I think it'd be worth that. That's going to increase your ticket by 33%, but it may multiply your winnings by 500% if Gunnevera happens to fire and those 2 blink a little bit, as you say. So the pick 4 ticket is $60, and the pick 5 ticket is $120.
There are 3 other graded stakes races earlier in the card, and 2 of them, the Chick Lang and the James W. Murphy, I wrote up for the Weekend Warrior blog on the Keeneland Select website, so you can see some thoughts on those 2 if you want to check them out. Best of luck with your wagers on Preakness Day. There's a lot of good racing elsewhere around the country. Churchill Downs has a couple of graded stakes on their cards, so it's a great day to be a horse player, and we wish you the best of luck. This is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.